Hi there, viewers. Today I'm joining a conversation with author Monique Beasley, the author of The Warrior Angel, whom I've had the privilege of interviewing a year ago, and it's quite lovely to have Angel. It's quite lovely to have Monique back on the show to talk about her books. You're welcome on the show, Monique. Quite lovely to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's quite lovely because I remember about a year or 2 years ago, we had a conversation around your book and it was quite very lovely. So it's quite amazing. And you've got another one upcoming. Yeah, lovely
Yeah,
one.
I do. I do. I have another one out.
Yeah, yeah. So, Monique, last year we talked about your book, The Warrior Angel, where you talk about the book, the writing process, and many other things involved. And I'm thrilled that we are here again, So let's do a wrap up. What has changed ever since the publication of The Warrior Angel? Has anything changed in your literature endeavors so far?
Um, I'm learning a little bit more about the process.
Mm,
Um, so far my book is just for sale online on different places and stuff, and I've actually been taking my books to different bookstores around my local areas and
mm,
trying to actually get them physically in the store.
interesting.
Um, Trying to get a couple of book signings going. It's a lot. It's a lot harder than I thought,
Mm,
but that's okay. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm even thinking. I've always been a big horror fanatic,
mm,
but um, I have a third and fourth book in the works. But I'm actually thinking of branching out and maybe doing some like romantic comedy with a little drama,
mm,
which is really not where I thought I would ever go, but it's actually pretty fun. so
interesting.
so I mean I hope to just get my name out there a little bit more and maybe branch out a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, I think it would be a good one actually to have a book in that genre, the drama and the comic. Yeah, it's gonna sound a bit
Yeah,
quite amazing. Yeah, it's gonna
yeah.
be a fun one. And I also see that you have a new book published February this year, and I want to say congratulations on that. Yeah, it's in the
Thank you.
name of this little piggy. The synopsis page
Yes.
on Amazon reads quite captivatingly to me. Would you like to tell us about the making of it? How does this little piggy come to be?
It actually started with out called "Hello, Pretty Cloud," and "I'm hungry, no bugs, please." It's
Oh,
their children's book. She's actually starting her first horror story, and I've been helping her collaborate ideas, and I've been doing all her editing work. And she had a scene in this book
mm,
that kind of stuck with me. It kind of reminded me of a scene from The Conjuring, to where like you're having a physical contact with somebody who you think is there who's not really there, and it
mm,
just kind of reminded me of, much as I like horror, I still scare myself really easily.
mm,
I thought about, I was like, you know what, that reminds me of like getting out of bed in the middle of the night and how scared you get and you want to pull your feet up right away. And
mm.
I was like, you know what, I bet I can do a whole book just around that scenario. So I
Yeah,
sat down and I was like, okay, well, so how is this going to what happen? What's on your feet? I thought, toes. I thought about that old nursery rhyme, this little piggy. Like this little piggy goes to market.
mm,
I was like, I bet I can work with that. So I made up some characters and came up with a plot. And my sister, she helped me a lot with the plot.
wow.
And it just kind of came together. It was a lot of fun. I actually wrote it within like 2 months. It was so much fun. I stayed up
Yeah,
late at night just writing, and yeah, it just kind of came together. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, just quite beautiful, really. I love your take
Yeah,
on that. And if you have a copy of the book, could you show it to the camera just so
I
we can
do
see what it
actually.
looks like?
Yeah. So
Beautiful
here it is. Here.
cover, this little piggy.
Yeah. Pig looks kind of real, a little creepy.
Yeah. Can we see a copy of the other book to the first one we talked about?
Sure. So this is my first book, The Warrior Angel.
The Warrior Angel. Lovely cover.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks
they did a
great.
great job.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it. Thank you for
Thank you.
showing. And Monique, as a Navy veteran and dental assistant, would you say your writing or some of your written works are inspired by your career path? or your life experience. Would I be wrong or right to assume this?
No, no, you're absolutely right.
Oh.
So in my first book, The Warrior Angel, I didn't really know how to come up with characters. So I
Mm,
made the main character, her job was a dental assistant, which I am. And one of the characters in there, her name is Lisa. She's actually a good friend of mine. So her personality, her name, everything. That's her. She's right there in the book.
mm,
Um, the other characters, I use like the first letter of their first name to come up with their names. Even the doctor, um, and even in my second book, um, being in the Navy, I met my fiance there, and there's a scene in my second book where one of the main character's friends is waiting on a Navy ship to come back from San Diego, and I've been to San Diego many times on my ship that I was on.
mm,
Um, and there's a scene there where she's reunited with her fiance, and that actually happened to me. So I knew how to
mm.
describe it. I knew how to go about setting the scene and what to say, and you put your real life in your books, and it really helps because you can actually what it feels like, and exactly how to describe the feeling and the scenario and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to use it in all my books,
Mm.
some kind of life memory, and it makes it a
Interesting.
lot easier. Yeah.
It's quite lovely to know about this. I mean, I just had to ask you that question, considering the title name and consider the fact that some authors' works are inspired by, their work, etc., stuff like that. Most of them actually, some actually, not most rather, yeah, are inspired that way. So it's quite lovely to hear your take on this too. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks for sharing. Yeah, for readers who haven't read this little piggy yet, and without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect in terms of themes picking up this little piggy?
Yeah. Let's see, without giving too much away.
Yeah.
um, so the basic plot of the story is it starts out as a news reporter. She's reporting on a missing teenage boy.
Mm,
She gets a weird feeling about the father, so she decides to investigate even more.
mm,
Um, without giving too much away, the she actually discovers that it's a curse. She uses like modern technology, like blogs and Facebook, Instagram, trying to connect with people, and she actually finds the origin of this curse, where it came from.
mm,
So she decides to put herself out there and just like go for it, and she travels like to a different country, and she finds out where it came from, and she tries to put a stop to it.
mm,
um, Now I can't tell you if she actually did stop it, or if she found the teenage boy, or what.
mm.
That you'll kind of have to read for yourself, but
Yeah, I love
there is
that.
a very, very big twist at the end, and I
Mm.
hope you check it out because I hope you love it.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now, having published two books, I would like you to tell us your experience with writing process. Was it a fun ride for you, or it's a tricky one? How would you describe your writing process?
Well, being such a big fan of horror, that's where I figured I would start. Um, my process is to come up with a new idea is like I'll watch old scary movies and read horror books and just think
Mm,
about what would scare me personally.
yeah.
And if I come up with some kind of scenario to where I would actually be scared, I start to think, can I um, can I come up with a storyline just like from this scenario?
Mm,
Um, and what I do is I carry this notebook around with me at work, and if I have like certain ideas, I'll write them down. Um,
interesting.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can use this idea in the book I'm writing now, or in a future book, or can I
Mm,
use this and make a whole storyline out of just this scenario? So
interesting.
that's kind of how my process goes. I try to write an outline first
Mm,
to come up with beginning to end, because it's like
interesting.
once you start writing and you come up with different ideas, It's
Yeah.
like, well, now I have to go back and change everything that I
Yeah.
just wrote because I came up with a new idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
I
understand
want the
that.
outline done and completely happy
Yeah,
with.
absolutely. I can relate to that actually as a novelist. And I think it's a
Yeah.
good one to know that you are the outliner type. Yeah, most people
Uh-huh.
just write randomly whatever comes to their brain at a particular time of writing.
Uh-huh.
While some
Mm,
outline their stuff, give a sketch, planned it before ever setting out to put their pen to paper. Yeah, that's
mm.
quite lovely to know. I mean, it's quite amazing to hear your take on this. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And apart from
Yeah.
the books we've mentioned so far, apart from The Warrior Angel and this little piggy, do you have any other works you've authored or say currently working on?
Yeah. So those are the only two books I have out. I am actually working on a new story. Um, it's actually about a haunting in a college.
Mm,
Um, so there, it's about this girl who's been tormented her entire life and bullied and things like that, and she is accidentally killed. Um, they were trying to do a prank on her, and they ended up killing her. So she ends up staying stuck at this college, and she's haunting it. Um, she meets this girl. She learns that she can take over bodies, and she basically uses her body to get revenge on everybody who tormented her in her life.
mm.
I don't know how it's going to end yet. I've only written maybe about 21,000 words.
Wow.
So I'm only about maybe 60, 70 pages in. Don't know how
Mm.
it's going to end yet. I'm
Oh,
actually also working on a sequel to The Warrior Angel. I just started that like last week. I just started writing the
oh,
outline. So
interesting.
don't know what's going to happen there yet. But
Yeah, yeah, that's actually amazing. I mean, that's actually a very fun one to do. And I want to say thank you for sharing. And I hope that goes
yeah,
in well, actually.
I hope so. It's
Yeah, I hope
it's a
it
work in process. I don't know how it's going to end yet. I don't know what's happening yet, but I'll figure it out.
I hope it goes on well, and I think it's gonna be fun, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now let's talk about the challenges and joy associated with being a writer. Are there any
Okay.
challenges you've encountered in the process of writing your books and also ever since it got published?
I think the main challenge about being once you get your first book out there is getting your name out there. Um, there are so many big names out there. A lot of indie authors that have been doing really well. Trying to get followers and
Mm,
just trying to get your name out there a little bit has been like the most difficult part. And just the idea that somebody is out there like reading your work and I read a lot
mm,
myself, so I know I have a lot of opinions on different books, and I try to write a review for almost every book I read because I know
mm,
it helps the author out. Um, and I'm like, oh, just the idea that somebody's out there reading my work. Are they going to love it? Are they going to hate it?
yeah.
But I think that has been the most difficult part is, you know, getting feedback and just trying to put my name out there and get more sales and get my book out there more places. That's been the hardest part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And the fact that this is a re-examining series, so we get to re-examine the work of authors that have been featured in the past 1, 2, or 3 years on the channel, on the show. And you're the second author, actually, we have in this particular series. And that would want me to ask you, is there anything that makes you excited with being a writer that you would like to specifically talk about?
The part that makes me excited is just blocking out all of the are people buying my book? Are they loving it? That's the scary part. The exciting part is just sitting down with my laptop like in the middle of the night or on my lunch hour and just making up stories.
Mm,
Creating my own twists and turns, my own characters, and if I decide to change something, I think it'll be better, then do that. The whole just the writing process itself has been the most exciting part. It's a lot
mm,
of fun. So
that's interesting. That's
yeah,
amazing, actually. I love your take on that.
yeah.
I love your take on that. And now, as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for struggling writers? And also, where can interested viewers get a copy of your books?
Okay. Um, the best advice I can give you is to first and foremost just focus on the book that you're writing. Don't worry about, who's going to publish it. Am I going to get an agent? What is my cover going to look like? Who's going to edit it? That's just going to make you take focus away from the story that you're writing. Just have fun with what you're doing first. Get your story written down. Don't worry about how it's editing, how it's spelled. Just get your story out there and just have fun with that.
Mm,
Because the more fun you have with it, the better the story is going to be. You can worry about the rest later once
absolutely.
it's done. Um, and where you can get my books actually are The Warrior Angel. Uh, it's on Goodreads
Mm,
and also on the Barnes and Noble website and on the Walmart website. This little piggy is also on Goodreads and Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Google Play Books. So
interesting.
it's in paperback and Kindle. You can get it in Kindle, like an ebook option for both of them. So
Yeah. Thank
mm.
you so much for your advice. I really enjoy it. I'm hoping that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. And I left a link as well in the description page of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Monique Beasley's books directly on Amazon and also the followed mentioned platform. I also left link to our social media following pages for possible followings. So thank you so much, Monique, for joining me
Thank
again in this
yeah.
examining author series. It's quite lovely. You've been the second author we're having on this series. Quite lovely to join you again, having a conversation after a year ago.
Absolutely. When my next one comes out,
Interesting. This is quite fun, actually. Thanks for coming on.
yeah, yeah. No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. I like
You're
talking to you.
welcome.